Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. I've had a ton of issues with my computer for a while. It's made editing really hard, so I've been doing a lot of it on my phone, and that's usually fine for like Instagram videos. I've done a couple of time lapses and stuff like that for Instagram, but I kind of want a bit of a better quality for YouTube, so it's been a while since I've made like a proper video. So I'm kind of just doing something really chill and easy just to get back into the swing of things. So I'm doing like a quick little journal with me, and I'm also going to talk about the book that inspired this page in just a second here. But yeah, I've been doing quite a lot of acrylic and watercolor painting, lots of portraits and stuff like that, which is what I love doing. And it's been really interesting because I haven't done a lot of acrylic painting before. I used to do a ton when I was in like doing art in university and stuff, but it's been quite a while. And I've been doing a ton of acrylic painting, and it's interesting because when I came back to watercolor, it changed the way I would use the watercolor, because I've kind of learned quite a few things, like a few tricks from acrylic painting that correlate with watercolor, and it's really kind of changed the game for me. I feel like my watercolor techniques have gotten much better, and I'm really enjoying working with it, whereas before it was kind of always a struggle. But I think a few things kind of clicked, so I think that's really cool, like changing your style. And I'm a huge believer in this. I never ever want to commit to just like one material and whatever, which is kind of almost a detriment to in some ways, because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I have a recognizable style, I use watercolors and I do this, and then there's me. I just kind of like do everything from collage to pencil to charcoal drawings to watercolor to acrylic to everything. So it's kind of a detriment in some way, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I could never limit myself to one type of art material or one kind of style. I just really love experimenting and trying everything. So but yeah, either way, a lot of things kind of clicked after doing like acrylic painting, and now my watercolor has been way better. But the one thing that's kind of ended up falling by the wayside is I used to do a ton of collage work in my journal, and I haven't been doing that a lot lately, and I kind of miss it. So I am kind of getting back into it again. And part of it is because I got sent this book. It's called Find Your Voice. It's by Noor Unahar. And if you're following me on Instagram, or if you're part of the art journal community on Instagram, you'll definitely recognize her name. She's pretty huge in that community. And she came out with a book of poetry, I think a year ago or 2 years ago, that I've really enjoyed. And now she came out with this new book, and it's very different from her first. It's kind of like a if you've ever heard of like your Wreck Your Journal, it's kind of like that, but for poetry and art journaling. And I've given it a quick read through and really enjoyed it. And basically she just, you know, came and asked me, hey, do you want a copy of my book? And if you decide to, you know, fill it in, could you post it on your Instagram, kind of thing. It's not a paid sponsorship or anything like that. But I really did enjoy the read through, and I was quite inspired by the first couple things that I found in it, and also by her color choices, especially the first couple pages. It's very similar to my favorites, which are lots of like muted purples, blues, and stuff like that. So I ended up doing this page, and I've definitely used like her work before in my journals, and you know, I've always very much enjoyed her poetry. I think she's got an incredible command of the language, and she's very good at invoking things, and I think that it's amazing, because the one thing that I think for me is a huge weakness is I'm not a very good writer at all, and it's one thing that I really love to improve on, because I like there's so much stuff in my head that I would like to write down in a better way, and then when I actually do, I'm like, this actually sounds really dumb. Like, I'm not very good at this, but I'm hoping that her book inspires me to kind of to find things that I love in my own writing. And so I'm really excited to see kind of what comes of it and everything, and to kind of improve my own writing skills, because yeah, it's definitely not my strong suit, I think. And I have been trying very consciously to use my own writing in my art journals instead of the quotes and poetry from other people. I do want to focus more on making everything 100% original and 100% my own. And of course, there are still going to be times where I'm going to be using quotes from other people, because I just I very much love being like inspired by others, and in like the stuff that their work invokes. And I also think it's really cool to see kind of a visual representation of the written word in certain cases. And so there's a couple of poets that I will always love and will always use their work in my art journals, but I still very much want to keep some stuff that's 100% to myself and make it all 100% me. So that's one focus that I really want to, I've been very much making that a goal of mine. So it's been interesting, and I do think that this book is going to be really helpful in that regard, because I think that from what I've seen of it so far, I've only filled in like 2 pages so far, but from the stuff I've read, I think that the prompts are going to be really interesting. And I think it's going to be really cool. I think I'm very excited to see kind of what I make of it, and I am planning to do a flip through once I'm finished it, but it is quite a thick book. I think it's like 120 pages or something like that. And while a couple of the pages are like Noor's collages and stuff like that, which are very similar in style to what she's got on her Instagram, quite a bit of it is like a workbook that you would fill in yourself. So I think it's going to take me a long time to fill in, but I am excited to actually do that and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to get carried along with the rest of my art journals for a little bit. So basically, I'm going to show you guys in a couple minutes here a couple of pages from her book, so you can see what's inside of it, and if you're interested in it, whatever. I do think it's available in bookstores now. I'm not 100% sure. I know she sent me the copy from like her publisher, but I do think that it's available from my understanding, and I'm really kind of excited that she sent it to me, because I probably would have just bought it myself. And because it's so specific to like the art journal community that I'm a part of, and I think it's also really cool because I feel like following her for as long as I have, like you get that kind of sense that you almost know the person based off of their work. So I think it's really interesting because you get to kind of see the end, or, you know, a step in their journey and that kind of thing. So yeah, so here's the page that was inspired by her book. I'll show it to you in just a second here. And yeah, I think that if you guys are ever in need of inspiration or in need of prompts or ideas on what to base your work off of, I think this is a really interesting starting point. And I also think that the one thing I'm really in love with in this book is that so many people come to me and say, oh, I have like no artistic ability, or I'm not artsy at all, or whatever. And they're like, I could never do what you do and whatever. And I'm always like, yeah, you don't need any artistic ability. You really, really don't. Like, yes, you're gonna find people that are making incredible and amazing work, and I see it all the time, like just such beautiful things that people create. But like, look at some of the stuff you see in here. This is, you know, matching things up in interesting ways and cutting and pasting them in. You don't really need to, like, you know, when people say I can only draw a stick figure, you don't even need to draw a stick figure. You don't need to do any of that. You just need to put things together in a way that is pleasing to you, and I can guarantee that other people are going to enjoy it as well. Like, if something, you know, there's no such thing as bad art, in my personal opinion. So yeah, it's really fun. It's a really interesting little book. I hope this was useful to you if you are interested in looking for like prompts and other creative ideas on what to make. And enjoy this video, and thanks so much.